Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-ba-ba-bam. That's right, we are back. I think I just clipped out the entire sound. Welcome back to the Northern Steel Podcast, baby. This is episode 14. 14 episodes in, no theme song made yet, because we're on top of it. We're on our ball, we're on our game. We're on our game, we're on our ball. I'm your host, Dominic, and this is my brother Chris, as always. He's rocking the white t-shirt. If you're listening to podcasts, he's got the white background. I look like I live in my parents' basement. I assure you, I do not. I live in my wife's basement. There's a difference.
It's good to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, I agree. So, welcome. I'm sure you are a Steeler fan if you're listening to this podcast, and you are starving for content just like we all are. And guess what? We got nothing to talk about.
So come back next week when we're going to record again. That's all we got. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you. That's our 2-minute episode. That's what we're going to do. But you know what? Instead of only talking about the news, why don't we try to talk about some fun stuff, Chris? What do you think?
Sure. New merch available. Follow.
Man, I wish we had a merch. I wish we had a Patreon. I wish we had more than 3 average listeners. But, you know, that's just the life we live, baby. We're growing. We're trying. Let's get the news stuff out of the way. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way. All right?
All right. Let's do it. Let's rock with it.
Minkah Fitzpatrick. Contract extension done. Locked up for another 4 years after this one. So 5. Done. We got him.
Finally.
Bang, bang, pow, it's over. He's clocking in around 17.8 mil a year.
I thought it was 18.3.
Sure. I don't remember. I thought it was 17.8.
It's a number that makes him the highest paid safety in the league at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. At the moment, for now, is the highest paid safety in the league. Omar Khan, his first big move as a GM, I think was a better move because normally the Steelers wait till after training camp to give out contracts, which sucks. And there's some other safeties out in the market that need some contracts. And luckily, Omar did it now. So Minkah is the highest paid safety right now. But I think when some of these other teams pay Derwin James or Jesse Bates or whoever, whatever scrub you want to pay, that's not as good as Minkah. They'll get way more money, and that's okay because we got our guys settled in.
You see, I'm personally biased, right? Because I think Minkah is one of the best active safeties in the NFL right now. But like you and I talked about previously, he has been extremely under the radar, especially after last year. So I agree with you. I think Omar Khan did a great thing by getting this contract done because you and I both know putting some names out there, such as Jesse Bates and Derwin James. You know, the second they get a hold of this talk about Minkah being the highest paid, they're going to want a big payday. So it's good that we got this done now rather than waiting for their deals. So that way,
I'm also tired of hearing about Justin Simmons. I don't care about Justin Simmons or Kevin Byard or Harrison Smith. Bro's like 40 years old.
You were talking earlier today about a list of top 10 safeties in the league you saw, and Minkah wasn't even on there, right?
Well, yeah, it was just one of those stupid like
PFF.
Football, it was like build your secondary with quarterbacks and safeties, and like the best one was $5, and like the not best one is $1 to give you like a perspective or. You know, for cornerbacks at least, the $5 I think was like Jalen Ramsey, and the $1 was Trayvon Diggs. So for safeties, they had so many safeties on there. Not Minkah. That's whack. It's really whack.
Seriously, and I mean, like, just kind of talking about Minkah and the year that he had, and just kind of around this contract, I think he deserves every last bit of that money that he got with this contract. He's an extremely talented player. To all the people out there who are kind of that I don't know about Minkah like being that good because of last year he didn't have quite as many interceptions. You got to remember that our run defense was absolutely atrocious. Hence why he had, what was
Correct.
it, 127 tackles as a safety?
100, yeah, somewhere around there, which led the NFL as a defensive back and was top 10 all time that a defensive back has had to make, which is very embarrassing.
But, I mean, if anything, it's like, yeah, he might not have had the picks, the defensive pass coverages that you wanted, but, like, he probably didn't get near the opportunity that he did the year before when he had, 6 or 7 interceptions?
He had 7 his first year with the team and 5 the second year. And then 2, I think, last year. I think he had 2.
Yeah, and you and I literally said it all last year. I was like, well, we can basically count on our passing defense to be, have some pretty good numbers and ranked pretty high because they're not going to pass against us because why would you when you get like 200 yards a game for your running back tandem?
Exactly. So hopefully that's fixed up and hopefully Minkah can, I'm not even worried about Minkah at all. I think that's the weird thing is a lot of people talk about, oh, I hope Minkah can play like he did back in 2019 or even 2020. I'm not worried about Minkah. Like, at all.
Not a bit.
Matter of fact, he may be the best free safety we've ever had.
Free. Before y'all get upset hearing the safety word.
Yeah, free safety. It's the key word. And that transitions well into the first fun thing we want to do.
Our
let's
free
talk
merch.
about an idea. Yeah, we got free. This podcast is free. Just for you.
Yep, and along with that, we're giving away some tie-dye T-shirts Dom and I made.
If you email us at Northern Steel tie-dye my guy, then we'll get you a tie-dye shirt quickly. All we need is your credit card number, your social security number, your mother's maiden name, and your street address, and a copy of your birth certificate. We will send that as soon as we can. Heading your way, baby. The best tie-dye that paint chips can offer.
That easy.
For simple installments of $99.
All right. Back to it, like you were gonna say. My bad.
Let's talk about something that could be a little fun, could be spark a conversation. What's that? Would you like to have a conversation about this? Well, why don't you message us at Northern Steel Podcast on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Grindr, and you can talk to us and you can let us know what you think about something. But let's talk about making our own all-time Steelers team, Chris. And since we just talked about Minkah, why don't we start with the defense? Or do you want to start with offense?
I'm fine with either.
Let's start with defense then.
Oh, actually, nah. Let's do offense. Because I made the post about offense.
Okay, fine. We'll say defense for next week. So the transition I used from Minkah, keep that in your brain for a whole week. That'll run real smooth next time. So let's talk about offense, baby. Starting off with the quarterback, the man, the captain of the team. Okay? No surprise here. I'm going to pick Big Ben, baby.
I was going with a different B, Bubby Brister. The man, the myth.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go with Bubby.
Yeah. Nothing screams athleticism and leadership like Bubby.
Yeah, like the name Bubby Brister. Look, I get people maybe don't like Ben as much as a person or as a player. Maybe you forgot how good Ben was. Oh, but Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls. I don't care, bro. Ben's the guy. I'm picking Ben.
I agree.
That's the dude.
I think it's hard not to, right? Like, wow, I was about to say Tommy Maddox. Terry Bradshaw, yeah, he does have the Super Bowl titles to back him up and everything, but God, look at Ben literally holds every single passing record, every single passing stat the Steelers have. You know, it's hard not to put him in that first spot just because I think he is the best QB.
Well, it was a different time. It was a different time back then in the 70s. I don't care. Well, Ben had A.B. and Hines Ward. Terry had Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. He was just lobbing up throws and they're catching it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care. Bro was just lobbing 60-yard bombs down the field. That shit was always getting caught.
Seriously.
Didn't matter. So I'm going Ben. Ben
Me
had
too.
the escapability. He's got the arm. He had the arm strength. He had the guts, the comebacks. Gotta go Ben.
He's the gunslinger.
All right, next. The next most important position on offense. That's right, you guessed it. We got fullback.
All right, so a couple names popped up in my head. What did you have for this?
Oh, I didn't research anything, so I'm going off the top of the dome, baby.
Oh,
And I don't know if so this is why Madden is ruining the brains of the NFL youth. But in Madden, they list Franco Harris as a fullback. He's not. Okay, so don't get that out of your head. I don't know if they used a fullback back then. I don't think Rocky Blair is a fullback.
and he's not.
So I gotta go with my boy, the GOAT, the legend, Dan Kreider.
Damn you! Honestly, I put the exact same thing for that one. Dan Kreider. I felt like our offense was so run heavy and so good at the run. We were literally just like ground pound football, and Dan Kreider led that way through that hole and helped out with Bettis and Willie Parker. And I don't know, I thought he was a really good fullback.
Now, keep in mind, we're going to try to make this list not recency bias, but I know a lot of players from the 70s teams. I know a lot of players from when me and Chris started watching football, which is 2004 to now. I don't know the 80s and 90s players at all. So if you have a better fullback in mind, you can let us know. Again, one of the social media stuff we told you about. Otherwise, if it's in Dan Kreider, my second choice is Rosie Nix, because that boy got my heart.
Amen, brother.
Taking Rosie Nix second. All right, now we're moving on to probably one of the hardest positions to pick one player for. That's running back.
So if you want to do one, we can do one. Can we do one and then like honorable? Because I put two on there.
Well, we can do two because we can do like a running back and then like a third down option maybe. Or we can do two. Let's just do two.
Okay. It's easy.
I'll do top two. Top two. Yeah, top two. And actually, two running backs and a third down back.
All right. I can get behind it.
Mix it up.
Sure.
Okay. Why don't you tell me first? Because I already know who you're picking for number one.
You guessed it. Gary Russell. JK.
Super Bowl 43 legend.
Seriously, nah, it's Isaac Redman. I'm just joking again. It's Najee Davenport. I could do this all day. I'm kidding. Obviously,
it's Jonathan Dwyer.
Oh gosh,
it's Chris Rainey. It's
Dree Archer.
I got it. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's that guy that fumbled against the Broncos.
Oh, I was gonna say Deuce Staley.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too though. It's Chris Fuamatu Amalu. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name.
I think he's the fullback, isn't he?
No, I think he's a running back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Listen to the podcast. Tell me I'm wrong.
We know all things. No.
Okay, running back, go.
Jerome Bettis. The bus.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I know you're going to pick that.
He's my favorite player of all time, so obviously there's a little bit of bias there, but like no bias because the dude also is at the time when he retired, was the 5th all-time leading rusher with 13,662 yards. Don't ask me how I memorized that number. But I think he's number 8 now, which still being 8th all-time is really impressive and a Hall of Famer. I know Franco's a Hall of Famer and he has all those rings and everything, but I'm a big Bus fan, so that's where I'm going with my guy.
Man, I think. Well, which other ones? Before I go into it.
My other one was Franco.
Okay, so you got Bus, Franco, and then give me a third down back.
A third down back? Can I say the Bus again?
No.
Like the 2005 Bus?
I mean, I guess you're thinking of like third and short. That's what I'm thinking. I guess you can if you want to say the Bus again.
Because like thinking of a third down back.
Here, why don't I go? Maybe I'll spark
you go.
A jogging memory, okay? Running back, you got Bus, you got Franco. It's hard to go against those guys, right? I mean, if you're trying to just get the best talent on the field, it's hard to beat prime Le'Veon Bell. Like that boy was primed to shatter. I think, in my opinion, he was primed to shatter if he could stay on the field. All of the running back records that the Steelers had for running backs, he was already doing it. And I think Najee Harris is on his way to do that too. I'm not going to pick Le'Veon Bell though, because he broke all our hearts. So yeah, I think I probably got to take Bus and Franco as well too. 1, 2. It's you can interchange either one. Willie Parker's close, to be honest. But I'd honestly I'd probably put Le'Veon ahead of him based on talent alone. And then for a third down running back, the easy choice is Le'Veon with his catching ability. Okay, but what about Moeldy Moore?
Oh, Mr. Moore.
That boy is crazy on third downs.
Seriously, that dude was known to just... we'd be like 3rd and 20, and we'd be like, oh, good, a dump pass to Moeldy Moore. And then we're like, hold on. What are you doing, Moeldy?
Yeah, he was always getting it. So you could say Le'Veon on third down because Le'Veon's such a good pass catcher, but Moeldy Moore, he's pretty sick too.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. But I'm still going to go with...
Or Chris Rainey.
I'm still going to go with the Bus on third down. Also...
Damn. Okay.
Bus is my 1 and 3, so
that's true. Okay, so next we got let's go to tight end.
Yeah.
This should be easy. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Jeremy Tooman. Oh, it's Jermaine? That's how much Jermaine. I don't remember.
Heath Miller, obviously. Gotta go Heath. You gotta go Heath. I don't even know if there's a second option yet. Frymouth could be there, but too early to say. So you could go. You gotta give it to Heath right now.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the dude in the 70s who was the tight end.
Did that position even exist then? Who knows?
Oh yeah, it did. I literally don't even remember his name. But yeah, Heath Miller. Number 2 is probably like, I don't know, Ladarius Green.
Stop that. If that dude ever had a foot to play with.
Matt Spaeth. He's pretty good.
Yeah, Spaeth wasn't bad.
Jesse James. The GOAT.
Yeah.
My guess is, I'm just going to say Heath Miller right now. And my guess is Freiermuth is going to be easily number 2 on that list shortly, and by the time his career's done, he might be number 1. I know we're in a different time because he should be getting the ball a lot more than Heath Miller ever did. That's just the way it goes.
I mean, Heath Miller was such a safety blanket for Ben. Like, I felt like if you saw Ben scrambling down the field and it was like third down, you're like, oh, he threw it. It's middle of the field. It's probably Heath Miller, and it was most of the time.
Yep. No, totally. All right, let's go with the boring positions now. And by boring, I mean the best positions. Don't get mad, you listener out there. Let's go with the lineman. Center first, because it's probably the easiest one. And by easiest, I mean I know the top 3 we have ever had.
Yeah, seriously.
But I think you have to go, if you're picking just one, I think you got to go with Iron Mike, baby. You got to go Mike Webster.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, obviously having Damani Dawson is really good, and we grew up with Pouncey, Actually, we also grew up with Jeff Hardings, and Jeff Hardings was not a bad center by any means, but I definitely put those other two ahead of him. But yeah, Mike Webster. I mean, everyone knows who Mike Webster is, so I mean, it's hard not to put him in that spot.
It's got to be Mike. Let's go with some guards.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you any of the guards from the 70s, but I know the guards from the 2000s teams. You got to go with Hall of Famer Faneca.
I agree. That was mine.
Got to. And this is probably recency bias, but probably going to have to do DeCastro in his prime.
Those are mine too. I mean, it's hard not to pick those guys, and they were good. They backed it up. I mean, DeCastro was a Pro Bowler many years, and I mean, Alan Faneca speaks for herself. I think he had to give up like 4 sacks in his like whole career. It was like some crazy number. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Sprung the largest run in Super Bowl history from Willie Parker.
Yes, sir.
Now it's on to tackles, and that is a position I am really not familiar with.
All right. So I have one for sure that it was like probably when we first started watching, and the name I've seen the most.
Max Starks?
No, I was going to say Marvell Smith.
Marvell Smith. I forgot about Marvell Smith.
Yeah.
That's a decent one.
His name was highly regarded. I thought he was a really good player for the little bit that we got to see him. Yeah, you could go Max Starks. You could say... I
don't know if I would go Max Starks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You could say Trey Essex. No, I'm kidding. Definitely not.
It's hard because I don't... Like, besides the 70s linemen, I don't really know of, like, really... I don't know if I've ever witnessed the Steelers having a really good tackle. I mean, Villanueva had a couple good years here and there. Max Starks had a couple good years.
Just because...
I mean, we just haven't had, like...
I looked this up. Tunch.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a great one.
Yeah,
is he a tackle?
He is a tackle.
Oh, dude. Oh, then Tunch for sure, bro. Rest in peace.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, not only what he did on there, I mean, he played, I think I read like 177 games, two-time Pro Bowler. It sounds like he was a big difference maker, but then obviously he made his presence known for the Steelers when he retired by doing radio broadcasting. So,
all right, yeah, let's go Marvell Smith and Tunch, baby.
I like it.
Rest in peace, Tunch. Okay, now for the final position on the offense, we're gonna go with receiver. I say we pick, 4.
4?
Is that too easy?
No,
maybe 4's too easy.
I think 4. I think 4 makes it harder for me.
Yeah. Okay. I guess if you want to go by. Okay. Okay. Well, I think you got to do AB. Obviously.
Yeah. Next,
AB's 1.
Next, I would say Ward.
Yeah. Ward's got to be on there.
Yeah, and then I put Stallworth.
Yeah.
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 This is where I struggle.
4, I think the easy answer is probably Lynn Swann, right? But I mean, you got to think about like the talent too. Lynn Swann was talented. He was acrobatic.
Yeah.
He was a great pass catcher. But you got to think about like all the talent the Steelers have had at wide receiver. Like, bro, put Mike Wallace back in the 70s. Watch that man dominate everybody.
Also, like, and this is why I struggle because I know actually it's kind of funny how many people actually have a problem with Lynn Swann. Like, I've heard of it a lot. Lynn Swann being a Hall of Famer because his stats don't match up with what a Hall of Famer is. Whatever. Like I said, it's a different era and whatever. But at the same time, like, I don't know, instead of Mike Wallace, Santonio Holmes, the Super Bowl MVP of 43, like, that dude...
Yeah, you could do Santonio,
that
for
dude
sure.
Was the first AB before AB became AB.
Right. The only thing I'm worried about is if we're trying to put the best squad out there, right? Because like Santonio's a great pick. However, we kind of got like a bunch of receivers that do the same thing. Hines Ward's like an all-around guy. He can block. He's got sure hands. He can catch it. AB can do everything as well too, but he is also like a smaller frame dude. But we've watched him do it all forever. But Santonio Holmes is kind of like that same-ish kind of player. Maybe he's a little more shiftier, so you could maybe play him in the slot more since AB would be the outside. Stallworth is a little bigger. He can catch deeper passes. Maybe Santonio Holmes is a good pick. Wallace is pretty electric.
Yeah.
Though in the slot, too.
I mean, maybe we could say...
Maybe Santonio's the pick.
Yeah.
Because he also is a great punt returner, too, with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and I mean, like, maybe...
Yeah.
I was just going to say, maybe we could put the idea of Limas Swede, not the player himself, but what the Steelers probably thought he was going to be.
Yeah, Mike was good. I mean, he didn't play for him very long, but Plexico Burris had the stuff. Oh, you know who might be in the top 4?
Who?
And this is somebody we never watched, but got a lot of records as Steelers.
Lips?
Is Louis Lips.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Big old Louis Lip. Lippy Louis.
That's what they called him.
Literally have never seen that boy play in any highlight. But he might make the top 4. He might crack it.
That's okay. Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had it, it's there, and it is not. So we're good.
What does that mean?
Oh, I was just going to say, because I posted this question on our Twitter page, and, we both know how Steeler fans can be. I was very surprised I didn't see a George Pickens or a Calvin Austin. Because you know what I mean? Like, obviously they haven't even played yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if people were like, oh, they'll definitely be on that. I'm like, come on. You can't say that.
I mean, I'd expect someone to be like, Randall Will. Like, no. Great, but no. Or, no one would ever say Juju. Let me take that back.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say Cedric Wilson. I was like, you hold on.
I was, but then I remember he beat his wife. So kind of let's forget about Cedric Wilson a little bit.
Yeah.
Nate Washington, though.
Yeah, he was a good one.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. So that's kind of like what me and Chris potentially think. I know there's a lot of recency bias in there for us, but that's kind of what we potentially think what the top Steelers offense could look like if you've got some better ideas, some better positions, some better overall thoughts. Please, I'm begging you, listen and share it. Send us a DM, send us a message, send us a carrier pigeon. I don't care. Let us know that you're listening and that what you think about that. Another fun thing. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, so this is one that I did post today, and we got a couple replies. If we want to call out anyone.
No.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
Let's do it. Let's do it for this other thing. Okay? Because Chris had another question on Twitter.
I did.
Yes, he did. Where he talks about, we had asked, who is a player, past or present, that you wish was on the Steelers? Fair question. A lot of you guys, a lot of yins answered this question. I guess also a lot of yins had just answered anybody who was like good, which I thought was funny and kind of surprising.
Yeah.
We can call their names out, Chris, you can, and you can repeat them, but I saw names like Lawrence Taylor and Barry Sanders. Yeah, great. They'd be sick if they're on our team. I don't know like what the need for that was at the time. But yeah, why don't you, you can call out some answers, Chris, and then we can kind of go for ourselves.
I mean, like you said, I think we both envisioned a specific player and or players that were like, this is what could have been if we had the opportunity to have them, but it just never panned out. And yeah, it was very much like we got some of the answers that we were expecting, and then yeah, I was like somewhere they're just like Pat Mahomes, not actually, but like just kind of like those kinds of those answers, like the Lawrence Taylor, and you know we even got one that was Brian Urlacher. So it's like yeah, that'd be awesome. He was a beast, but at the same time, like I don't even think Brian Urlacher was on my radar as far as like oh we could get him kind of a thing. So.
Right.
Looking through the ones, and a lot of the one that we got, which made sense, was Marino. Marino is one that's super talked about. In fact, he was very much brought up during our whole draft process with Kenny Pickett because they're both Pitt guys. Pickett beat all of Marino's records and everything. And they're like, we can't make the same mistake twice. I really hope we don't. I really hope Pickett pans out. But you never know. So looking at that, yeah, that was one. I mean, another one that was brought up was a little history, was Johnny Unitas, because I know we drafted him and then he was cut well before he even had a chance to really prove himself. And then he went on to win a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Colts.
Yep.
So he was one, and then a couple other names. So like Ray Lewis, I thought that was an interesting one, and I mean Ray Lewis is just a monster. What do you think?
I mean, I definitely would have taken Ray Lewis. It takes him away from the Ravens. I mean, he is a staple Raven guy, but he'd have been nasty for the Steelers for sure. Him and Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine Ed Reed and Paul Malone on the same team? It's not fair.
No.
That's not fair at all.
Can you imagine Troy Polamalu with any good cornerback on our team?
Like you're gonna get a bunch of hate from the Ike Taylor lovers.
I know.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. And to be fair, I also liked Bryant McFadden growing up. I thought he was a solid cornerback, but I was also 11. So
yeah, and also he wasn't. So he's pretty average. Okay, so that's like a really interesting question. I mean, Dan Marino, of course, is like you said, is the obvious one. We would have won I assumed at least one more Super Bowl in the 80s, and I mean, our defense was so good, but our quarterbacks were so god awful, so terrible in the 80s and 90s. Dan Marino should have got us at least one, if not more than that. So Dan Marino for sure. If I'm trying, we mentioned those guys. Sometimes it's like I was trying to think about this earlier, and like my brain just goes to like more recent players. I know this players on draft recent, but I remember when Joe Hayden was drafted to the Browns. I was like, oh man, like that guy's such a Steeler. That sucks. I wish he was in the Steelers. And eventually he was, and I was so happy because I always felt that Joe Hayden was a Steeler kind of player. That's how I feel too about Kyle Hamilton. That's still early though. I don't even know how he's going to play. Mm-hmm. Do you have any that you've written down? I can try to jog my brain while you've got some.
No, but if you need a moment of stalling, I can definitely stall with our brand new merch that we just put out.
Oh.
Yeah, so we dropped a merch, and I have been making keychains in my living room. Northern Steel keychains. It has both our initials on them, which is kind of cute. And
okay, so back to real life.
All right, cool.
I think Aaron Donald would be a good one.
Oh gosh, can you imagine him and Cam on the line?
Yeah, coming from Pitt, he'd be nuts. Mm. I think there's so many cornerbacks you could pick too. I mean, we wanted them to pick up this safety specifically, but I remember I wanted them to. I liked Malik Hooker. Yeah, coming out of the draft.
Yeah,
he hasn't really done anything in a while. And we wanted them to pick him up last year. But I did like Malik Hooker a lot.
Obviously, Tyrann Mathieu.
Yep, I liked Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh,
I still like Tyrann Mathieu.
who was that cornerback who you really wanted us to draft a couple years ago? I think he went to Cincinnati.
Oh, William Jackson the third.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know how. He's not even on the Bengals anymore.
Is he
I
not?
don't think. No, I remember being like, oh, we can get him again, like the same Joe Hayden situation. And I was like, yes, we can get him, but I don't think he's on. I want to say he's on like the Cardinals now,
Oh, I got one.
but I liked him. Go ahead.
Recently this year, J.C. Jackson, when he was a free agent,
True.
I would have loved to get him on the team. Let's see here.
William Jackson III is for Washington. Oh, here's a good safety I wanted so bad. Who is a free agent still, potentially? Although we're not going to pick him up because we signed Terrell Edmonds. Landon Collins. I wanted that boy bad.
Yeah.
Even coming out of the draft, I wanted him. Yeah, he's a free agent right now. Got me messed up. This man being a free agent. I would still take him right now. If he takes a deal like Terrell Edmonds, like $1 million deal, I'd take Landon Collins right now. Bring him on over.
I can't really remember how he's doing at the moment, but I remember at one point we were like talking about Leighton Vander Esch filling in that middle linebacker spot. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I don't think I was ever like, even at the draft, I was kind of like, I'm kind of like him, kind of not like him. I know people said like Kuechly, I think, which I never really ever thought about.
Oh, here's a couple like we joked about, but it's not really a joke because we're still bitter about it. But like Creed Humphrey, obviously, that'd been nice.
Yeah.
Or Nick Bolton, both went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's still a little early to say, but yeah, I agree with those.
I mean, they both balled out, so.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, that's a fun. I think that's like a fun thing to think about because, the Steelers, we've been lucky to watch a bunch of great players on the Steelers teams. And it's not often that I wish somebody else was on our team. You can wish for anybody being on our team. But it's something to think about. So if you, listening at home, have someone that you have always wanted on the Steelers, why don't you use those little fingers you got there and type us up? I'm really asking for audience participation, baby. Chris, have you seen Stranger Things season 4?
Why, yes, Dom, I have.
I was thinking about, if you have not seen Stranger Things, spoilers ahead. This season is the villain is Vecna, that's his name, and he kind of puts you in this trance in your brain and your mind to try to kill you. And it seems like possibly the only way to break out of that trance is by hearing your favorite song. And there's a trend right now online of people posting like what their favorite song would be to get them out of Vecna's grasp in Stranger Things. I was thinking about not even a favorite song, but for the Steelers, like a soundbite that I could think of like right now that would get me out of there. Like that's sort of just recognizable. Like we have the DVDs of the Steelers run to the Super Bowl from 2005 and 2008, and I've watched those a plethora of times, and I can like hear in my head Tunch again, rest in peace, when Jerome fumbles against the Colts, and he's like, oh my gosh, no, oh my gosh, someone stop him, no. And Ben tackles him, and then when the guy misses the kick, what was he goes? He goes, pack your bags, call up your travel agents, we're going to Denver. And I can hear that vividly. That'd probably break me out of the curse.
The way I thought you were going with this, because it was music, I thought you were just going to go, yeah, Steelers, so Renegade. But
No, because that song I only like Renegade with Steelers stuff. Like during games, I hardly ever listen to that on my own. And also, Black and Yellow is kind of a curse because Wiz put out this song, and then Lil Wayne put out Green and Yellow, and then we lost the Super Bowl. We haven't done anything since.
Lil Wayne put out a song called Green and Yellow?
Yeah, because he was a Packer fan, and then they beat us that year. Wiz Khalifa put out Black and Yellow the year we went to the Super Bowl and lost.
We should never go up against Lil Wayne. That's all it is.
That's what I'm saying. There's also a sound that is deep in my brain that tickles my cerebellum every time, and it's when Bill Cowher gets when the Steelers win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 40, and he gets the Gatorade dumped on him. You know what I'm talking about?
When he does that little laugh thing?
Yeah, and it's like the microphones are muffled.
Yeah.
But it's like, hoo, 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 hoo. I don't know like why that is like on in my brain.
It's all right.
But it's like I always thought it was so weird.
You know what?
And I'm trying to find it so I can like play it.
You know what sticks in my memory from that DVD is when we play the Broncos in the AFC Championship, and you just hear that like loud pitch girl screaming. Where it's like, ah! And you're like, why is this so loud? And do you remember that? So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it was like on every highlight they had, and I was like, dude, are you just by the camera person?
I thought you were gonna. If I was gonna guess the sound, I thought it was gonna be James Ferrier with the bus game against Chicago.
Here come the bus.
Yeah. You got snow tires on.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I just thought that was a little. I'm still trying to find this Bill Cowher clip. Man, it's crazy.
All right. Let's give a big high five on the count of... That was such a dad thing, I thought.
Totally.
It's such a cool moment, but at the same time, every time I watch it, I'm like, gosh, that's such a lame dad thing to do. But I'm like, right, I'm very happy for him.
I can't find it. If I find it in post, I'll throw it in.
Sure.
But that's what it's like. And you know what? I wish I could tell you that any Mike Tomlin thing could get me out of Vecna's curse. But it can't, man. Not because I don't love Mike Tomlin as much. It's because he says so many weird things. I couldn't even quote one for you. Like painting a barn with a broad brush. Whatever he talks about.
Yeah.
He's got the best sayings, but yeah, I don't know. But hey, man, we made it. We did it. We stalled out for a whole 45 minutes. And time to pack it in, call it a night. Pack your bags, call up your travel agent. I'm going the heck to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for listening to the Northern Steel podcast. We'll be back next week. We might actually have a little surprise.
Stay tuned for that one.
Maybe.
Also, again, please... we appreciate all the following and, you guys keeping in touch and answering all of our questions of the day. I will be a lot better with that now that things are starting to calm down a little bit more. But please feel free to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. It's at Northern Steel Podcast or at Northern Steel PC. We appreciate everything, and we love reaching out to you guys.
You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Reddit, and on Club Penguin as well.
Especially Club Penguin.
Thank you guys for listening. My name is Dominic. This is my brother Chris, as always, and we will see you next week.
Peace out.
Goodbye.